Hello. In the previous video, I installed Docker and Portainer on top of it, and in this one, I primarily plan on installing Nginx Proxy Manager and configuring it. But I expect this video to be a bit longer than the previous ones. I don't know how long it's going to be. But yeah, I expect it to be a bit longer because I'm going to be testing some stuff as well. And I have, to be honest, forgotten the installation and configuration portion of Nginx Proxy Manager, because last time I did it was probably like 7-8 months ago. And if this is the first video you're watching from my channel, this is not a full-on tutorial. This is more of a documentation because I am filming as I am doing these, and I expect to make mistakes, so I would advise at least watching this video till the end if you want to follow along. Watch it till the end to see if I fix any mistakes. I might be fixing mistakes in the following videos as well. But yeah, let's begin. Nginx Proxy Manager, what is it? It is a graphical reverse proxy manager on Nginx. It's a web UI based solution, right? It's used to route incoming traffic domain subdomains to internal services. It handles SSL certificates for these services as well. Let's Encrypt with Let's Encrypt, and manages ports without touching Nginx config files themselves. But what does it mean? What issue am I trying to fix in terms of my Homelab? In its current form, my Homelab is very small, right? I have two IP addresses. The first one is 100, the second one is 101. 100 is my Proxmox node, and 101 is my Ubuntu VM, Nginx VM that is running in this node, right? And my port numbers are 8006, this is for Proxmox, and the second one is 9443 for the Portainer itself. But I will be adding services, quite a lot of them. Some of them will get their own IP addresses, but most of them will be reusing this Nginx server's IP address, right? And the way my traffic will be directed to these services, the determining portion is going to be the port number, right? As I install more and more services, as I create more services, there will be more and more port numbers, and I will have to remember each one of them, right? And it will be hard to remember them, and also like inconvenient. Like this is the reason, like these IP addresses and etc. is the reason why we have domain names, so we don't have to remember these IP addresses. Nginx Proxy Manager kind of solves it, and it solves it by creating. You can get a domain name, and then with Nginx Proxy Manager, you can create multiple subdomains. For example, I have this domain called myhomelabjourney.com, right? And I can create portainer.myhomelabjourney.com, and when I hit enter, it will automatically go to the Portainer service. And if I do proxmox.myhomelabjourney.com, it will automatically go to redirect it to my Proxmox host, right? So I will no longer need to remember these IP addresses and port numbers. The second issue that it's going to fix, it will also help me to get HTTPS without setting up HTTPS in each one of these services or like VMs or hosts. So now let's go ahead and start with its installation. I'm currently in their own website, setup instructions. I went into full setup instructions, and this is the Docker compose file, right? I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna go back to my Portainer, and instead of like, if I go into templates, if I search here, Nginx Proxy, okay, it's not finding anything, probably because I haven't added the sources, but I'm not gonna do it now. Can I Proxy Manager? Okay. Anyways, instead of the template itself, I'm gonna create a new stack. Let's add a stack, and let's call it Proxy Manager, right? Let's copy, let's paste what we had here, and let's start modifying it. I'm not gonna just deploy it as is. I'm gonna actually modify it a little bit and then deploy the stack. So let's add the version. Let's call it version 3.8. instead of app, let's call this service itself like Nginx Proxy Manager. And then let's add a container name. I don't know if it's the correct syntax. I guess we will find out if it errors out. Container name, and call it again Nginx Proxy Manager. All right. So the ports, we have 80, 443, and 81 for web admin portal. And let's do this America, Chicago, to stay consistent. And I will actually add a specify the user as well. And I'm going to use 1000. 1000. So 1000 is, if I do ID, it's the user and group ID of my MHA user, and hopefully it should use the files and etc. that are created in the bind mount that I will add will be under the MHA user and not the root user. I say hopefully because this is one of the things that I wanted to test a little bit. So instead of volumes, I'm gonna call this npm data, or let's just call it data, and then data. So I said I'm gonna be using a bind mount, and I will, but this is how you would normally, as I understand, declare named volumes in Docker. But instead of it, I'm gonna go down here and volumes. Ah, okay. Let's call it, it was data, right? Ah, this is not data. Let's call this, let's encrypt. Let's encrypt. Okay, data, and under data, let's do driver local. This is the kind of syntax that I want to follow with all of my containers to keep it consistent. So I want to use it like descriptive, in a descriptive way. Driver options, and here type none bind, and then on device /opt /docker /app data, let's call Nginx Proxy Manager, and then /data. So I'm gonna copy this whole thing, and this one, the second one was let's encrypt. Let's copy this. So it's driver local type non-bind, the same thing, and instead of data, this is gonna be let's encrypt. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and create these directories. Docker app data. I don't know if it can create them for me. Haven't tried it, but just in case, I'm gonna create them myself. -p, was a capital P or not? No. To create the parent directory, permission denied. What, don't I have permissions for this? Let me change this user and group for the whole app data to my own user. chown MHA, was I MHA? Of course, sudo. Okay. App data, and let's create mk directory -p to create the parent directories as well. Nginx proxy, let's encrypt. And the other one for data. Do I have it? Yes. All right, perfect. Now let's click deploy and see if I have made any mistakes. Let's just add one more empty line, new line in here. Okay, it seems to have created it. Let's go into the stack. And then I have it seems to be running. Let's go into container and look at the logs. I see some errors. This Docker container must run as root. Do not specify user. Okay, so it doesn't want me to specify users. I'll go back and edit this and remove. Probably needs root user, maybe because of the 80 port. Not sure, but let's try it. Update. All right, it seems to be working now. If I go into containers, I can see Nginx Proxy Manager. Can I access it already? 68.1.101. Okay, this is perfect, and it's asking me to create the user. All right, let's full name. Let's go with MHA. Email address. Should I use a real email address? All right. Now it seems to be working. That's perfect. Actually, that's perfect. All right. Let's start with proxy hosts and let's add a host. Oh, before I do that, I should. Okay. So with Nginx Proxy Manager, what you can do is you can go into your router settings and you can open the ports 80 and 443 to the internet, which I don't advise at all, unless you know exactly what you want to do, right? And you can point from your DNS to your public IP address, and then if somebody you included go to that domain name, it should land on the Nginx Proxy Manager's main page or like redirect it to the intended service, right? But I don't advise it unless you know exactly what you're doing, because you don't want to open your home network, your home services to the whole internet, right? Instead, what you can do, what you advise you to do is go and buy some domain name, and I used my homelabjourney.com, and it is long, and I would advise you to get something that is small and that is also very cheap. Like, you don't need anything expensive. Just go with something descriptive that you like, small and cheap. All right. The reason why I say keep it small is because you will have to, I will have to write like Portainer, then .myhomelabjourney.com. It's like already getting longer and longer. And with this domain name, I don't plan on using it for anything else. If I, for example, wanted a public blog or something, I could direct myhomelabjourney.com to my blog itself, and then added a subdomain and use, for example, home.myhomelabjourney.com, and then use that one with Nginx Proxy Manager, and then my whole domain would become even longer, right? Like, so it would be portainer.home.myhomelabjourney.com, right? So that's why I'm saying try to keep it short and buy something cheap. It doesn't have to be expensive. But with this one, I'm not planning on using it for anything else. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually create an A-type record name. Let's use @ and IPv4 address. I'm gonna use 192.168.1.101, right? Proxy status, no. TTL auto, and save. So this is a local IP address, right? It's kind of like weird to use local IP address with DNS, right? But what this allows me to, what this allows me to do is, whenever I'm on my home local network, and any device at home that I use, and I go to this myhomelabjourney.com, it will be redirected to 192.168.101, right? And it will land immediately on my Nginx Proxy Manager, and that one will decide where the traffic needs to go. which is very convenient. And if I'm outside or like somebody else in the world, you, for example, try to go to myhomelabjourney.com, it will redirect you to your own 192.168.1.101 IP address. So with this IP address, if I'm on my home network, I will be able to access it, but anybody, me included, outside will not be able to do it. That issue I'm gonna resolve with WireGuard. Well, I cannot use WireGuard. I will probably use Tailscale. I can't use WireGuard. Maybe I can, but I say I cannot because I am behind CGNet at this place. So I will probably use Tailscale. But anyways, I have 192.168.101. Or like, can I immediately right now try it? Like, what was it? NS lookup myhomelabjourney.com. Oh yeah, it's already active. It is perfect. Like I can access it, right? Let's go back to Nginx Proxy Manager and try to use it. Let's call it domain names. Oh, okay. I have to first create the domain name, the whole SSL thingy. Let's encrypt. Okay, let's go one by one. SSL. Okay, so now I want to do let's encrypt SSL here as well, request a new certificate. Or should I do the certificate first? Let me see. Add a certificate. Let's do it via DNS. myhomelabjourney.com. Oh. And DNS provider is Cloudflare. I haven't used Cloudflare before. Like I'm using some other solution. Cloudflare API token. This plugin requires configuration file. Let's just click next and see what happens. Okay, internal error. Yeah, I'm doing something wrong. Oh, I need to provide my own API token. Wait, can I do it without API token? Let's try add certificate via HTTP. These domains must already be configured to. Okay. I honestly don't remember how I did it last time. Let's see what it will do. Internal error. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Let's search the web. Okay, so I read up a little bit. I need to create a token with Cloudflare. I'll click Cloudflare, edit zone DNS, use this template. I think this, no, is it? Create token. Yeah, this should be the one. DNS is already selected. Edit. Okay, I didn't probably need to continue to summary. No. Specific zone. My Homelab journey. Okay, create. All right. Hopefully I don't forget putting a black bar on top of it. Now let's go back to here and certificates, add certificate. Let's go again with DNS. So what's happening here is in order to issue a certificate to me, Let's Encrypt needs to ensure that I own this domain name. And before, like in the past, I think you could just add a txt like entry in your DNS, and then Let's Encrypt would be able to do it. But I don't know, like they're asking for API token, so I'm going to use that, Cloudflare. All right. And then for my domain, I'm going to actually use wildcard. And then my Homelab journey.com. So the reason I'm using wildcard, so I can use the same certificate with all of my services, like with all of my subdomains. So this should handle that. And hopefully, again, I don't forget to put a black bar in here. Let's save this and see what happens. All right, it seems to have completed. And I should probably create, oh my God, again, my API token. Okay, so yeah, I should create another record, and this time, what was it, CNAME? CNAME, maybe I can use this as an alias, okay, and just like this, can I create it? Can I use @ in here? Okay, save. I have forgotten so much. Okay, now let's go back to my Nginx, and I do have this, hopefully, yeah, let's encrypt. Cloudflare, perfect. It didn't even ask me for my email address. I guess it's gonna be using my whatever I used when creating Nginx Proxy Manager, so I would suggest that you use your real email address in there. Now let's go into hosts, proxy, add a proxy. Okay, here, let's go with Portainer dot my Homelab journey.com. Let's do this HTTPS 101.94.43. All right, publicly accessible, custom locations SSL, and let's use my Homelab journey, force SSL, HTTP2 support, and let's save and see if it works. It works, perfect. Yay. Now we can do the same with Proxmox. Oh, instead of Proxmox, let me use, what did I call my Proxmox node? Where's my Proxmox? Advanced. Proceed. Was it Pluto? I think it was Pluto. Let's go with, now let's stick with Proxmox. That's my Homelab journey.com. Right, here again HTTPS, and now this time it's gonna be 100, and the port is gonna be 8006. Custom yada yada, my Homelab journey for SSL, and this one might fail. No, it didn't. Perfect. I was wondering if it's gonna fail because the FQDN that I set in Proxmox was with .home.arp, I think. But no, it's working, and it's perfect. All right, I think this concludes today's episode as well. I have installed Nginx Proxy Manager, created a certificate with Let's Encrypt, pointed my domain name to my local IP address, and added these entries for the first two services. So from now on, I don't need to remember the IP addresses and then the port numbers, and I can just do, go to my domain name, and then it's gonna open. That's perfect. All right, this is my Homelab journey so far. I hope you liked it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.